Jamaica, can you tell us what Mr. Dayton Campbell meant by this?
And as of such, we are giving this government 72 hours to rescind this appointment. And if they do not rescind it, there will be actions all over Jamaica.
I challenged the business community to set up a civic committee. And it's called a civic committee, but I made sure that it is full of PNP people.
Deceitful.
Because we have an agenda.
Conniving.
Jamaica, did you listen to what this man is saying? Action all across Jamaica.
72 hours to rescind this appointment. And if they do not rescind it, there will be actions all over Jamaica.
Jamaicans, you hear me? I warn you know. Don't make no politics boy or girl, prime minister, opposition leader, nobody making no take up a weapon or anything to inflict damage on your fellow Jamaican. It's not worth it. Do not make them influence, you know, to take up weapon to harm your brother. Cause at the end of the day, you would be only defeating the whole cause. Please do not fall under no political boy influence. To join no riot or political uproar to destroy your country, destroy your country's stance based on foolishness, stupidity, and political stunt, where they do not have anything to campaign on, so they're taking up the simplest thing and trying to make it into a major conflict in your country. Totally ludicrous in relation to Mr. Dennis Chung being appointed to the FID. All the process was followed through. Have a listen.
The opposition PNP has given the government, I believe, a 72-hour ultimatum to rescind the appointment of Dennis Chung and his appointment to the FID. My question is, what's the government's response to that call?
Would you, PM, I can take that too. All right. Just to note, and I got some questions from other members of the media in relation to that appointment. Every single senior appointment in government goes through a process. There is a process that we go through. The position is advertised. Individuals apply. There is a panel that's put together that shortlists candidates. And then there is an interview process that takes place. And there is scoring. The members of the committee score each of the persons. And then they make a selection. So there is a process that would have been followed. And from all the information I've been given, that process was followed. And so, we may have issues or not, and some people are celebrating the appointment, some are not. But the reality is that as government, we have put in place particular systems, especially in the hiring of senior government officials, and those processes were followed. If you have something to say it was not, then tell us that. But the process, as far as what we have the information on, that process has been followed. And I'm answering you the way I answered that other reporter who spoke to me earlier today.
So here I am saying, Jamaica, and I want the police to question this man in relation to what he meant by this action all across Jamaica. We need to get clarity on this, because if this means that they are planning to create political upheaval in our country, we need to neutralize it before it starts. Ludicrous, totally bullshit, but action all across Jamaica. When Mr. Dayton Campbell, best friend of 20 years, sit on the Integrity Commission Board in one of the most quintessential position there, where he passed judgment on whether if a public official is right or wrong or need to be charged. There's nothing like this. Us only talk about it But there's no way we incite certain things or seem to incite as if we are talking about public uproar across the country. Because of nonsense, Mr. Chung gave his opinion, which so many Jamaicans also agree with Mr. Chung. What you present are the perception that you're trying to make the Prime Minister seems guilty with stupid, irrelevant evidence. This is what Mr. Chung said. This, what you're trying to do, it need more conclusive evidence to damn the Prime Minister. But we know all along in relation to how the Integrity Commission operated, the PNP was getting information before it was tabled in Parliament. There were. Everybody have seen. There is evidence to show. Evidence. So what this man is trying to do, what this man is trying to say about action across Jamaica, we need clarity on this. Because if this man ever make certain action reach us where persons' life or loss are affected, he and his opposition leader is supposed to be blamed wholeheartedly.
Host here at Nationwide News as well as a public commentator as well. So full disclosure, but I still find it strange that someone who has given so much to the country in terms of his public work across multiple administrations. You'd famously remember when he was appointed at the NSWMA to clean up that organization, as it quite literally became a burning dumpster fire. And what that organization is now being praised with in terms of what he has done there. I really find it strange that anyone would suggest, because he opined on what at the time he was a public commentator opining on a public matter, they would expect that he would know in the driving seat, so to speak, of an organization, impugn his integrity by trying to undermine the process.
And the same process was followed. I dare say, well, maybe other people could have gotten a position, maybe, but we've passed that point of interviews and who got the position, and we're now with Dennis. And the point of the matter, Siobhan, is he has years of experience appointed on both sides of the aisle. He's worked with some of the people who are calling for his resignation. It's pretty crazy, because all you have to do is look at his history, as in his professional history, not his history as a public commentator, because when you do public commentary,
very brief comparative to what he's done.
And he's always had insights over the years. He has a book. He has 2 books. He has always had insights on our economy, on things happening.
And I know the reasoning a lot of the people fighting against him is that, well, he's not from a investigative or police law enforcement background, and that is critical to the role of a chief technical director.
For the financial investigation division.
Argument in terms of the role of chief technical director, yes, that you would prefer somebody with a forensic background, a forensic accounting background. But I would imagine that to some extent that is what an chartered accountant does in terms of auditing and looking at the books of organizations and coming to a conclusion. In terms of the nitty-gritty of probity and investigative capacity, one would hope that the FID has that in spades by itself as an organization, and you wouldn't require that from the chief technical director.
But he is a certified
chartered accountant, yes.
Public accountant examiner as well. I keep hearing this argument about persons looking for investigative background, persons who are
which I don't think is something that you need from a chief technical director.
That is investigative in and of itself, being somebody who literally goes through books, audits, accounts for, goes into an organization, fixes an organization based on what their books are. I do think if you're talking about financial investigations, as somebody who's going to head the department, I'm pretty sure there are a number of investigators and forensic auditors that are already employed there. If the argument is, separate from his competence, then that's a different argument.
I believe when it comes to things such as director generals, chief technical directors, permanent secretaries, it's not so much that you are required to have a full 100% background in the area that you're covering, because it's not your role to deal with the nitty-gritty.
No.
Your role is a little bit above that in terms of coordination
and decision
ensuring
making
that the thing runs smoothly. Because even if there is a concern that Dennis could oversee matters in relation to the Prime Minister's statutory declarations, it would not be him carrying out the investigation.
Yeah.
And I just find it all very odd.